Hi everyone, welcome to another tutorial on painting clouds. This time it's feathery clouds. Although the thumbnail shows a complete painting, the video's purpose is to give instruction on painting clouds. So my idea is to break down the elements and focus on a subject to keep the video at a somewhat reasonable length. My future videos will cover subjects such as mountains, hills, trees, bushes, waterfalls, lakes, grass, and whatever else I could think of next. One of the things I usually do is mix two different kinds of blues and even purple to get the sky color. And if I want it darker, I add a little tiny bit of black. And I think I'll be bored if I just use one type of blue straight out of the tube. And that's the reason why I add different kinds of blue. I'll even add a third kind of blue and just mix it all up. And I believe this is what makes for a more interesting sky. This is the process where I'm freely making brush strokes, and this is kind of fun for me. And this is the part where I relax and feel a little carefree because every stroke doesn't have to really be in the exact same certain location, or it has to be so precise, and that's why I can just freely swing my brush and have fun. One of the things that I notice my students do when we're in class is that they get a little shy about using the brush, and what I mean by that is they're not putting enough pressure on the brush. So when you do your brush stroke, especially for this part, get that brush sort of dig in, put some pressure on that brush so that it's bending and you are actually getting that paint into the canvas texture. I'm painting around the barn, which you would not see the completed part of it in this video, because again, this is focusing on a tutorial on painting clouds. You will see the finished product, but you won't see the process of me painting the part where I do the barn and the trees and the grass and so forth. Sometimes it looks like I'm speeding up the video, but actually I'm not. And I do my brush strokes quite quickly and really quick motions. And I guess this is part of how I get the more soft edges and that kind of thing, and have a feeling of just a feathery feeling. I don't know how else to explain it, but I have to feel this way so that I could convey the part that the cloud is fluffy or it is light and all that stuff. And if I feel heavy and I paint, then I think it will convey on what my clouds look like. So I try to really relax and do my strokes freely and not be so tense. the grayish part that is close to the ground. This is in preparation for some more distant clouds that I will be painting. The shadows will allow the highlights to show up, and so although it's not going to be really dark, it's sort of a soft gray, and I will paint white clouds over this. And again, this is a wet on wet technique, so I'm not really concerned that my white will be, you know, straight out of the tube, but since this is oil, when I paint something over it, then it'll mix together, and so it'll be somewhat of an off-white. It's not gonna be white straight, titanium white straight out of the tube. Notice the shape of the clouds, or where I intend to shape the clouds. It's sort of like a funnel, and I did the shape so that it will lead the eye towards the center of the painting. Funny thing is, I just saw my friend posted a photo of his backyard with the sky, and the sky looked a lot like what what I just painted. And of course, I'm talking about you know, in the past tense. I've already finished this painting, and so when my friend posted it on Facebook, I thought, hey, that's pretty cool that my imaginary sky actually, that God made the sky very similar to what I did. So kind of cool. Pay attention to how you palette your brush. What I mean by that is, in other words, how you load your brush is really important. If the way your brush is loaded, if it's not correct, then when you apply your paint onto your canvas, it could result in something that's very unpredictable and out of control. So you want to take control of your brush the moment you start loading it. You are, in other words, paletting it, and make sure that there's not a lot of how the paint would kind of cake up, or it has some you're only loading the tip of the brush. Make sure that the brush is loaded with paint through and through, and so that it's actually really loaded. And again, when you palette, you know, make sure you bend that brush onto that palette, and that you're not just loading the brush, the tip of the brush, but the as much as you can, the entire brush. So here I'm paletting cadmium yellow and some white. This will go in the center of this funnel shaped feathery cloud. I'm using really light touch with my brush strokes. I'm also blending and softening the edges as I go along. I'm going to add some orange to the same brush. I'm using a smaller brush because I want to be a little bit more precise as to where I lay down my paint. This orange paint, and I wanted to be more in control of where it is and where I place it, so that's why I have the smaller brush. And eventually I'm going to blend it with either a mop brush or a bigger brush. So the placement of the orange is random, and at the same time it's very calculated. So I am turning on the artist, and so to speak, and these are things that cannot be completely explained as to why and where or yeah, the why am I putting it where I'm putting it. Those are the things that goes on in an artist's mind that is hard to explain, but I started using the mop brush to blend it, and now I'm using a smaller brush to be more precise. Again, this is not a sped up. It's just I'm making my strokes small strokes, but quick and light, a light touch. I'm using a small palette knife, and up to this point I was using somewhat of a dry brush technique, but with this palette knife you can actually you can blend with a palette knife even, but in this case I am piling on white and with the intention of blending it after I pile on the paint. And of course blending it is a good idea because clouds have soft edges. And the white will just automatically blend with the orange and the yellow in some of the parts, and I will be adding that same white onto the blue sky, and I'll have little feathery clouds there. So this is actually adding the highlights on my feathery cloud. I think I mentioned it before that I usually tint my white with a different color so that it's not just titanium white straight out of the tube. And I was taught by one of my art teachers, I forget who, but I don't know where I picked it up, but never to use white by itself or black. We make our black and we tint our whites so that it's not straight out of the tube. So that may be a rule that you haven't heard before, but then again, that's one of those things that's going around. Well, I guess the art community, that we're not supposed to use pure white and pure black. Although in graphic arts we freely use pure black and pure white, and that's a good thing, and it's different for fine arts. Blending with a 2-inch brush, and it's a very light touch, or my white paint will completely or quickly disappear. So be careful when you start to blend your pile of paint, and start off really light, and then just watch to see what your paint's doing. And you could always add more pressure whenever you need to and wherever you need to, but starting off with a light touch is a good idea. Yeah, this part is fun too, because softening edges is easy. To me it is, and it's just touching up what I already have and going different directions with my brush. And I like the transformation that takes place from paint that's been piled onto the canvas to something that look like clouds. So remember, a little blending goes a long way, so keep that in mind. So at this point, the clouds is starting to take shape, but to me, I'm still not convinced that this is a very good-looking cloud. So I'm gonna continue to work on it, and until I'm happy with what I have. I am mixing the same color as the the sky, the blue sky, and I am painting on the edges of the white clouds to define it a little bit better. Because to me it was just a little too soft, so I am using the sky blue to define my feathery clouds. Yeah, soft edges are good, but it could also be too soft. So, and that's a fine balance, and it really depends on you how you want your clouds to appear. Yeah, soft edges, but not too soft. Of course, hard edges is not very. I wouldn't use that. I wouldn't do hard edges for clouds, but that's just me. Yeah, now I like what's happening here. I'm starting to get happy with what I'm seeing, and with just the touch of that blue that I use for the sky, it really start to take it to another level. I'm getting the look that I'm aiming for. And I guess that's why some people find painting clouds a challenge, because it's a fine balance of hard and soft edges, and just working with it until you get beautiful clouds. And again, that's pretty subjective. What looks beautiful to me may not be to other people, but I think when people buy my painting, I think that's an indication that they like the way I paint clouds. So every time I paint the sky, it is very, very different. I don't have the same sky twice. And yeah, I think my head would explode if I did that. I like I like uniqueness. I like the thrill of seeing something different, and even my color scheme is so different from each other. I may post different types of clouds that I painted just to show you a couple of samples. I'm being more precise with the highlights now, and giving more definition with it. I'm adding the highlights to the distant clouds. It's really subtle, but it's there. See, what defines you as an artist is how far you take your painting. What is the point that what you painted or what you created brings you happiness and satisfaction? At what point are you going to say to yourself, okay, this is good. This makes me happy. This piece is good. Now, I'm not saying this is good enough. I'm saying this is good, and you're completely satisfied with what you're looking at, and that you can actually enjoy what you created. And at the end of the video, as promised, I will show the completed painting. It would make for too long of a video if I included the entire process. And you know, this is a tutorial on how to paint clouds. So thank you for watching to the end. It was kind of long, but thanks. God bless you. I hope this brings you inspiration. Till the next video, remember who created everything that is beautiful.